and we are live. What we'll do is we're going to give it a little bit of time, because it takes time for me to see what's in the top corner, how many people are in. 2 people in, all slow. I think, like a lot of us, people just had enough this season, haven't they? 2. Please tell me I put it on the right channel. I've not put it on the wrong channel. 5. No, it is on Lions TV. I thought I put it on a different YouTube channel I had then. Obviously not. All right.
Your OnlyFans one.
Right, so we'll give it a minute. I'm just going to check that it is live on YouTube. And then once, hopefully, the numbers rise, we can get going. We are live. No, thank you. Oh, 10 people. This is 16 people. All right. It is what it is. I didn't take into consideration that the season is over and no one might give a shit. But there you go. We're in for the Den debate, backed by absolutely no demand whatsoever. Welcome, Joe, Kenny, Jack. Thanks for joining us, boys. We're going to have a little chat tonight about what went right, what went wrong, what happens next. What sparked me to do this tonight really was 3 players released by the club at the end of their contracts. I was a little bit sad about the Sean Williams one. Shane Ferguson, not so much, but it was time for Willow to go. We'll get onto that later. We'll start out by talking about the final 2 games of the season. That's it, people are in now. The final 2 games of the season. Massive contrast. 4-1 home win Bristol City. 6-1 away to Coventry. Let's start with that. Let's start with a positive, because it was the result that came up first. 4-1 Bristol City. Jack, how good did we look that day?
Brilliant. Until Bart opened his mouth at the full-time whistle. But yeah, no, I thought, because in the group chat, it goes a bit quiet when we do really, really good, I've noticed. But then as soon as we lose, it blows up a little bit. But with Rowett, see, I've been a big Rowett advocate, as you know. But he has grinded on me a little bit, because we can't ship in 6 goals last game of the season, especially after that performance against Bristol. So that's my thinking.
That's always happened, though, isn't it, Joe? It's always happened. We seem to have this, no matter who's in charge, it's up and down. 1 minute we're brilliant, next minute we're shit sort of thing. What is it with consistency under any manager we've got? It seems to me it affects us more than anyone. I might be wrong.
Isn't it? He calls it the Jekyll and Hyde. He always says it depends what Millwall's going to turn up. And it's like 2 completely contrasting performances. There's, like in the Bristol City game, we looked brilliant. We had some great spells of play. The way we knocked the ball about at times, you're like, wow, why can't we do this all the time? And then next week, you go and perform like that. Be it last game of the season, nothing to play for or what. There's no excuse to be losing 6-1. But yeah, I think that's our main thing. We really struggle with consistency. Like we have seen in spells in certain games, the Bristol City game, where we can play football when we want to. We've been good in spells, but if we just done that week in, week out, we'd be right up there. But our problem is consistency.
Yeah, well, I'm moving on to something Kenny put in the group chat earlier. You actually said, Ken, when I said we're going to discuss the final 2 games first, you went, I'm going to have to watch the highlights. Because the last 5 weeks you ain't watched us, and it's been the happiest 5 weeks of your life. But like Joe just said, 1 week we're up, 1 week we're down. You've got a theory as to, we should have made the playoffs and if things were different, if the manager had done things different.
Yeah, firstly, on that question, I think in them last 2 games we were consistent. I think we were consistently shit. Now, the thing is that what happens is Millwall go and win 4-1, and we think that, Gary Rowett's a master tactician. We think the players were up for it. But the reality of it is that we played a depleted Bristol City side that had nothing to play for. They weren't up for it. They were on holiday. And on that day, we just played better than them. When we went and played Coventry, we played exactly the same consistent level, in my opinion. Just the difference is that the Coventry side was up for it, and we were still at that plateaued level, if that makes sense. And we got done, just like we got done at home against them, actually. So, and that's the scariest thing, is that we definitely didn't learn from our mistakes, did we? From the home game earlier in the season.
That 2 players gone off early in the game as well. 2 of their best players. The one that done really well against is that Dabo, who's annoyingly from Southwark in the first game at the Den. He went off early, and another one of their players, I think it's Hamed, two of their best players went off. So you think, Ken, that we wasn't that good against Bristol City. It was just Bristol City were that bad, and we kept that level of performance up. It's just that Coventry turned up.
Yeah. Dan, honestly, I haven't got off my seat for a goal in about 3 months. Easy. Yeah, I haven't. I really haven't. So I think that our levels of performance have been tragic for months. And you know, so for us to win 4-1, although it's a great result, I weren't over the moon because I look at it from maybe a different side of things. But then when I saw that we lost 6-1, because I didn't watch the game, right, I also wasn't surprised and weren't angry.
Well, you didn't watch it. Joe turned it off after 3-1. Jack, you did watch it and all 6 goals. Just talk a little bit about the defence. I mean, I think if memory serves me, 3 goals from corners.
Well, if I'm going to be honest, I think that we found out that Romeo can't play centre-half. Like, he can't do that. I think a few of them are his fault. I thought Bart maybe could have done better with a couple, but can't really get on his case. But I find myself like I've been quite against, not against you, Kenny, but with some of your opinions, I'm sort of like, no. But what he sort of said did play out. He was like, wait till we play someone who can play football and we'll get found out. And that's exactly what happened last game of the season. But I'm also of the ilk that maybe this season, next season coming now, we'll have a few. It's now Rowett's time to get a few players in. I know he's got a few in, but he hasn't spent anything. I think he spent money on Evans, and I think that was it. You know, others have been lonely in that. You know, but now he can get rid of some Deadwood. Well, I say Deadwood. Some of them have been great servants to us, and then maybe let's see what he does this season. But I've been a big advocate for Rowett, but I'm also starting to see some cracks.
Well, look, I've got written down here, and we'll go with Joe next. Season summary: good/bad. Now, I actually went on to another Mill podcast the other day, and got asked this question. I said, look, you've got to say it's a good season, really, with all the problems we've had, that everyone's had, but Rowett especially lost his assistant, got COVID himself, brought Parrott in on loan. He wasn't what we thought he was going to be. Got Zahora in on loan. He kept getting injured. So I do feel for him in certain ways, but and he's done his job, in my opinion. But no matter who he gets into the summer, I don't think that's going to change. And for those saying master tactician, I'll just point out what I put on our WhatsApp group earlier. Middlesbrough 3-0. That was after 24 minutes, by the way. Millwall 0, Huddersfield 3. Millwall 0, Bristol City 3 in the FA Cup. Millwall 0, Swansea 3. Millwall 1, Bournemouth 4. Coventry 6, Millwall 1. Gary Rowett, master tactician. It's not a master tactician, is it, Joe? Come on.
I've never once said he's a master tactician, but
sorry, you didn't say that. Sorry, but other people have seen it spouted about all over social media.
But as you say, or as you will know, I've been behind him all the way. There has been parts of the season where I have questioned him, but the way I look at the season as a whole, I think we've been really unlucky with some of the injuries we've had. Brought in Parrott and Zahora, as you said, long-term injuries. We had Ryan Leonard that was just starting. I was one of his biggest critics, and then he looked like he was improving. Long-term injury. Billy Mitchell was out. So personally, to be in stages of the season where we went on that winless run, where it has been some of the worst football that I've ever seen, and I think for us to actually come out at the back end of it all right and where we finished, considering how bad some of the performances have been, I think my eyes, and I think next season, as long as we're not plagued with injuries again, but we do need a good few players in this summer, and I think just see what he does this summer, and I think we can only improve.
So Joe, you cut out right at the vital moment then when you said a good season or bad, but I'm thinking you're saying it was a good season.
Am I here?
You are now, yeah.
In my eyes, I'd say it's a good season considering how bad we were at times and where we've ended up finishing, because it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Yeah,
I agree. Ken, look at that comment there from, obviously it's the real Steve Morrison. And it's exactly what I said I think I said it to you, Joe. It might be. I said, Neil Harris never claimed to be a master tactician, but he didn't ship goals like this, did he, Ken?
No. Do you know the problem is that he sets up the games not to concede? This is what makes it even worse. Is that listen?
So true.
Do you know what I mean? So if you're going to set up to not concede goals, don't then go to Coventry and lose 6-1. At least if we did lose, was we under Harris when was it Rotherham that we played and we got spanked? Was it? I can't remember.
I don't think that was Harris, was it?
No,
Was it not?
Before that.
I think we did get spanked by Harris in a game, but the difference is that we got spanked by giving it a go. If it, under a Neil Harris side,
yeah,
we gave it a go, and you could walk away from that game going, yeah, do you know what? We gave it everything. They were just a better side. They've done us, and we've lost. Whereas you go and watch that Coventry game, you go, we got ripped to pieces for 90 minutes, and we didn't give it a go. So, I'm just going to go home now and feel sorry for myself.
Could you imagine if we had Archer in goal against Coventry?
Well, I think he played in goal for Middlesbrough that day and shipped free. But I mean, look, I think Kenny, me and you are very similar opinions. We have been for a long time, and it's good to have Joe and Jack on, because if we had maybe, I think Danny's in our gang now, judging by what you're saying on the WhatsApp group. Too much hate. We've got to look at the positives. I wouldn't say it was a good or a bad season. I would say it's a successful season. Jack, what do you make of the season as a whole?
Like, it's just another top half finish. Like, I'm happy with it, but I'll get other people's anger because it was there for the taking, wasn't it? It was there. It's been a joke of a season, and it was there for the taking. And I think Joe touched on it, that we were awful for a lot of that season, and we aren't where we finished, which is a bit of a touch. So, like, I think, Parrott didn't work out. Everyone thought he was going to score 30 goals. It didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? He's been unlucky with injuries. I think next season's going to tell, but if I have it right, I think he could be gone by Christmas if things don't work out, because we won't have that down at the Den. The fans won't have that. You can't go on that winless run and keep your job. Like, he's had a touch that we weren't now.
That's a very good point. And for everything I defended him with, Callum Davidson leaving, strikers not working out for whatever reasons, in getting COVID himself. I mean, the COVID situation as a whole and us playing behind closed doors, I don't think you can factor that in, because everyone did that. But in the opposite direction, to slag him off maybe, or to look at the negatives, you're right, Jack. I don't think he would have kept his job.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
What do you reckon? 10 games about a win at the Den with a baying mob. I think he's had it off there in a way.
You think how it was going off just in our WhatsApp group? Imagine it down the Den, the people that would be getting on his back. I don't think he would have lasted. So by us not being there, it's done him a favour.
Big time, yeah.
Ken, you said, just touching on what Joe and Jack covered there, you said that you sent a voice note into our WhatsApp group early, something covering what the boys said there, that it was within touching distance, and you think if we had changed the way we would have played, we might have got there.
Yeah, definitely. I think that we've had an absolute tragic season. I mean, if you look at it statistically, yeah, all right, fine. We've finished, middle of the table, and I suppose you can say that that's a success. But I said it right from the beginning. If we played the way that we played the season before, we've got a massive chance here of getting ourselves into the playoffs. And I honestly believed, and I said it right at the beginning, I still say it now to the last day, we had the team there this season to get up in the playoffs. And I think it's a massive, massive opportunity missed.
I do see that.
Yeah, we set up completely wrong. And this is what's happened. So you could look at it and go, right, so we've set up not to concede goals, but yet we've conceded goals. But you know what? When we actually gave it to teams, we went out there and we done well, and we ended up getting good results. And all we had to do was do that for 45 games in the season, and we would have been in the playoffs. So for me, it's a poor season, and I think it's a massive opportunity missed.
You're getting a lot of people agreeing with you there, Ken, as well, saying it was an opportunity missed. Again, I don't want to seem to be hating on him too much, but this thing where he didn't play Bradshaw till the very death, this thing where he didn't play Mason Bennett up front for about the first. I mean, how long has Bennett been in the club? 15 months. For the first 12, we never played Bennett up front once, and he'd had him at other clubs. So, some strange decisions in there for me as well.
Bob Barton. I was about to say that.
The Barton thing where he kept putting him on before Bradshaw the whole time, and then playing Zahora, we know wasn't going to be at the club and he couldn't stay fit. And then right at the death, he brings Bradshaw in. I personally think Bradshaw gets a lot of unfair press. I think he looks good.
Recently,
With
very
the
good.
right service and getting them balls across the 6-yard box and low, I think he can do well. But let's do it in this way. People say if Raul gets the players in, I still think it's going to be a big borrow and steal and loan who you can and get who you can out of contract. How many players do you think we need to get in? If we'll go around all three and start with Joe.
Maybe even 4 at a push. I'd say we need 2 strikers. 2 new strikers in.
Mhm.
And listen, I sound like a broken record, but I've been saying this the whole
Cam.
season.
Cam.
Central attacking midfielder, number 10 role, 100%.
Mhm.
2 strikers, a Cam. Who
Throw
else?
maybe throw another centre back in there, backup centre back, because I don't think Pierce will be up.
Gonna be there. We'll get onto that shortly. What about you, Jack?
4.
Same 4 as well?
4, yeah. We need another 4 Bodvardsons to really push on. Like, no, I'm joking. No, we need. I'd say 4. We need a couple of strikers, a Cam. I'd like to see Hayden Muller be our cover for centre half. I don't think. I think with the youngsters coming through, I think Mitchell on his debut, he got rave reviews on Twitter and everything, even a few of you boys. I didn't rate him on his debut, but since then he's pushed on, and I know he's young and he's still learning to take that, that killer ball, that final risk. He just don't want to be that guy that gives it away yet, but his tenacity's there. He's Millwall through and through. So I like him, but I'd say 2 strikers, a Cam, and it's tough. We need something else, because Mahoney's, as much as I love him, he needs to be consistent. Well, we all need to be consistent in that team, because that's one thing we ain't. But maybe like a young, fast, pacey who ain't scared to run at people on the wing, and maybe like. But we might have to fund this by getting rid of Jed. I don't know, but I don't want him to go. It's weird.
Funny one you said, Ken, as well. Before you tell me how many players you think we need, I'll forget enough. We've got long enough on the air. But you said to me, going back to what I said about Rowett and about Bennett never been played as a striker. He probably, if he's been at the club 18 months, he's only been used as a striker for the last 3 or 4. So why didn't Rowett? You're adamant, and I'm sure Steve Leeds, because he's in, he'll help us out with this maybe. You're adamant that everyone's saying Jed and Ben up front's good. You reckon Jed scored as many goals out wide than he has up front?
Right, let me tell you this. I've got it written down for you. Last season,
great.
Jed scored 10 goals, had 13 assists from right wing. Yeah. This year he scored 11 goals and got 5 assists. Right. Also, he's played 2 games more this season. Yeah. So you got to work it out. Like, so it winds me up like you wouldn't believe. When have we ever seen Jed Wallace as a striker other than this season? Firstly, and let me tell you, see people like Bradshaw and Bennett. The reason why they're not scoring goals is because they haven't got someone like a Jed Wallace on the right.
No service, exactly.
So you have someone like Jed Wallace doing what he does best, which is a right winger. Then people like Bradshaw maybe might flourish. You don't know. It's just I appreciate why he's put why Rowett's put Jed Wallace up front. I appreciate that, because in his head we may not have anything else, etc., etc. He's going to bomb about. He's going to put pressure on the defence, etc. In 1 minute he can be chasing the centre back, and the next minute he's defending for us. He's good like that.
Yeah.
But Jed Wallace, in my opinion, is a right winger, and the stats show it. He's better on the wing than what he is up front. That's my argument.
And how many players do you think we need in, Ken?
I'm going to say 4, providing that we get Scott Malone in. So if we get Scott Malone in, then we need another 4.
Yeah,
I'm the same. 2 strikers. I don't want to see a Cam. I think that Ryan Leonard can fill that role. I'd like to see another centre midfielder. And I think we need I'm the same as you with Hayden Muller as backup, and you've got Murray Wallace. I'd like to see, and this is going to get a lot of crap, but I would like to see another keeper in.
Well,
I agree.
We're going to have to.
I agree with that, Ken.
We are going to have to get another goalkeeper in. So let's cover it now. Just give me a second. Might be jumping the gun a little bit, but fuck it, let's go with it. So, obviously this week, these people left the club. Shane Ferguson will be leaving the club at the end of his contract next month. Sean Williams, a lot to discuss with that one. I haven't got a picture of Frank Fielding. Fuck that up. But Frank Fielding, of course. So let's start with a goalkeeper. Right? We'll start, and two other people we're going to discuss because there's two others out of contracts. That's Matt Smith and Alex Pearce, club captain. Let's start with the goalkeeper. I haven't got a picture of. I should have done. I did thought I uploaded it, but there you go. Is what it is. Frank Fielding leaving the club. So if anyone doesn't fully know the script of what goes on a little bit further down in the hierarchy, obviously everyone knows Fielding come in, got injured. Then we got Bart because Bart couldn't pass a medical. Turns out he's never injured. Double player of the year. Fielding's always injured. So that's fine. But there was a point when Fielding got injured and we had to promote Ryan Sanford, who's been at the club, fucking hell, since the old king died, I think. He was only about 24. We had to use him for a game as a reserve goalkeeper, and we immediately went out and got Luke Steele as an emergency loan, right? Which tells me they don't trust Sanford. However, they've now released Fielding, and Sanford's now not going to play in the 23s because in the 23s we got a goalkeeper, a good young goalkeeper called Joe Wright. However, he's a great shot stopper, distribution a little bit to be desired, but he's still a boy, really. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it might be saying that. He looks very young. And below that, other than him, we've got one other goalkeeper called Harry Gilmore. Not Happy Gilmore, Harry Gilmore. So
Happy.
Are they going to promote Sanford finally, or do we need to go out and find, which I think can be a difficult void to fill, a goalkeeper that's happy to come in and know he's never going to play?
Mm-hmm.
What we thinking, boys?
I think, like I say, this could be really controversial, but I love Bart, I really do, and I think he's a fantastic shot stopper. But I also don't think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. I think that us as a team for 2 seasons has made him look really, really good. On the basis that he's had to pull things out of the act quite a lot, and I do think he is a good keeper. But I also think that statistically he's the best goalkeeper in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely.
He isn't the best goalkeeper in the Championship, but statistically he is.
He's a fantastic shot stopper, but his footwork's got a lot to be desired.
100%.
I honestly think that we should be going out and getting another keeper to challenge Bart for that number 1 spot. That's just my opinion. I know that's controversial, but statistically he's good, but I don't think he's as great as everyone makes out.
Can I cut in a sec?
I was going to throw you anyway, because obviously you play in goal, and a lot of people saying here, Westwood from Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have been relegated. A few people saying go and get Barry Bannon as well and Adam Reach, but let's stick with the goalkeepers in a minute. What are you saying, Jack?
I agree with Kenny, especially, and that's it. Now I'm off. Bart's saved us a lot this season when he shouldn't have, but also he is 33, and we do need to have that little bit of. If I'm honest with you, Bart's been fantastic. I can't mug him off, but the third quarter, end of the season, he's looked a bit older than he did when he first came. I know that. Kenny, do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and Sanford ain't the next one. He might need a few more years. We need to go and sign a 23, 24-year-old, someone because you get wiser as you get older as a goalie. You know what I mean? You don't want to be throwing a 21-year-old in the Championship. You don't, unless they're special. If they're special, they're at Chelsea or someone like that. True. You know, so I agree with Kenny on that front that we need to not go and get another old one like Westwood. You know what I mean? We don't want to have them old goalies there. I know old goalies are wise, but we need someone who's wants something to prove.
We do have an old goalie at Mill as well, don't we? Fucking down the years. Fucking
we do.
Nigel Spink, Mark Crossley. Fucking the list is endless.
Do you want me to tell you something? I'll tell you what swung me is definitely the last 10 games, as you say. And Jack, look, I played keeper at a reasonable level as well. And when you look at the goals that he's let in, he could have got to. That's the problem.
This is where I agree.
It's either his body's not letting him get down there, or I think that's exactly what it is. His body don't allow him to get down on them short angles, which is down by his feet, so to speak. And that's what worries me.
So much. I don't think that's his age. And I don't want to.
Do you know
I love him because what I want my goalkeeper to do first and foremost is I want him to fucking save the ball. I'm not bothered about the football stuff. He's got though. He wears 2 fucking knee supports. Well, you can see he's not that mobile, but fantastic shots. But I like what you said, Jack, where you said maybe get a keeper in 25, 26 and go, look, learn off Bart for a year.
Hungry,
and then you can challenge. Joe, what do you think?
At first, I was
that's not a bad shot.
I'd completely disagree, but as you've gone on, what Kenny and Jack said is I've started to agree with. There has been times where there have been goals he's conceded, and in my head I think maybe he should have done better, but the problem is where he saved us so many times, I found it hard to sort of blame him. But when you look at it like properly down the line, yeah, he could have done better with some things. But also, I have to say, I don't think there's many better keepers out there in the Championship. I have to say, and I think we'd struggle to find anyone better. And I'd say he's probably the best keeper we have had in years. Obviously, we had Archer.
Your brother's not having it. Look, we're lucky to have Bart, plain and simple.
We'd have gone down with Fielding in goal. We'd have gone down this season. 1,000,000%.
Or I think it was just before Ford, but we had a stretch of a good 3-4 years where we had keepers coming and going, and we had loan ones and some I couldn't even remember their names. So I think it's good. Listen, he's not won Player of the Year for 2 seasons in a row for nothing.
Yes,
100%.
Right.
That's what. I don't want to sound like I'm slating Bart because he's brilliant. Of course he is. But Kenny's thinking of the future, and I agree with that we need to maybe get someone in who's like sort of 25, 24, that's hungry, that can, as you said, Dan, learn off Bart for a year.
But the magic thing
we need another one there.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, unless they're going to promote Sanford, but again, I don't want to slate any players.
I am a free agent as well, so
comes with his own glove sponsor.
I've got a glove sponsor.
I've seen Sanford a few times for the 23s, mate, this season, throwing them in. So I don't think they're looking to promote him at all. So I think we can all agree we need a goalkeeper. Again, it's difficult to find. We haven't got a lot of money. We won't be looking to spend big in that area because we've got Bart already, won't we? But there you go. Okay, so we can all agree we need...
Dan, I'll say one thing quick.
Go on, mate.
This is my thing. I've not seen much of Sanford. I haven't. But when I see when you're at the reserve games and things and you say he's cost us one there, I've seen it quite a bit this season. This is what makes me think you ain't ready yet, mate, you know?
No. Well, the thing is as well, this is what I say. We spoke about this earlier and we'll get onto it later. If you haven't fucking got into a first team at 21, 22, then you need to be looking elsewhere. He's got to be 23, 24, Sanford. But, all right, so we need a keeper. Let's look at now next.
I'm 34. You just made me feel blinding.
Yeah, no. He's never played in the league and he's never good. Let's move on to... where should we go first? All right, let's go here. Let's go controversy. So Sean Williams... It's been confirmed he's leaving the club. Originally, he was in a player coaching role. So I am saying 2 things have happened here. 1 or 2 things. One, he's not got on with Rowett, and they've decided to not go down that route now. Or 2, which I think is the more likely. I think he's probably been offered something by a League One club, a good League One side, maybe a 2-year deal, and they're going to give him the opportunity to play for another couple of years, which is what he could do. And listen, I'm a big advocate for Sean Williams. I always have been. I understand now he's getting on a bit. But technically, a brilliant footballer. And I think he could have done the Ryan Woods role all season, all day long, better than Woods can. Joe, let's have a little chat about this man. He's a Millwall legend, by the way. A lot of games. Been here 7 years. There's a lot of good.
To be honest, I'll have to be honest here. You know, when he first started, I really didn't like him. For the first 2 seasons, I said, he's useless. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't know why he's on that pitch. He was one of the worst players for me. Don't know why he was in the team. But after that 2 seasons, it's sort of like he's built into the role. And I think he's over the last maybe not last 2 seasons, but that bit in between, he was one of our, I'd say, best players. He just had so much composure. He was so calm on the ball. But brilliant player for us. But I just think I think it's probably the right decision in the end because this season and towards the end of last season, you could just start. I'm not saying he ever had pace in the first place, but he's just lost a bit. So, but I still, you might be right there where he's been offered a contract by a lower league club because I thought the whole idea of him getting on the coaching staff is he'd sort of be there for the long term. But
that'll be a big loss for us, in my opinion. Him not standing on and passing on, not just his playing experience, but the vast experience of being at the club. Jack?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Rowett's come out today. I saw that he's actually said that Billy Mitchell's emergence has hindered giving Williams another deal.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he wants to bring players through, which is really hard for probably Kenny to hear because he hasn't done it all season. But I'm also on the. He is a Millwall legend. Like he is. He crossed the ball for Gregory to hit it and Morrison went in. And Bradford are in League 2 or something now, aren't they?
God,
that's stupid. You know, he is a Millwall legend. He scored from the halfway line. That'd do for me. But I'm also, you can't play him with Woods, and you can't because we get cut open to bits because it don't work. I would have liked to maybe, as you just said, play him in the Woods role. I think he could have done that all day. I think you're right on that one. But yeah, Millwall legend, fantastic servant, but it is the right time to go for me. But fantastic servant, love him.
Touching on Ken, we'll go to you next. Touching on what Joe was saying, I guess we had a massive malfunction here. What Joe was saying about he didn't really do anything for a couple of years. I remember a point when he was massively out of reckoning. He was on the bench, and I think he done a couple of tweets that upset a few people. And you know, he was on his way out of the club, but he completely recovered, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that he. I agree with Joe in that. I mean, I didn't sort of not like him, but you did sort of sit there and think, what was he bringing to this team when he first come along? Was it MK Dons? Wasn't it? Was it MK Dons?
Yeah.
And he has got better and better every single season that he's played for Millwall, and even this season when he's come on, most of the time he's made a difference. Don't get me wrong; a couple of times he's made a difference in the wrong way, but he's still got that class. And I'll tell you something: if a League One's going to team's going to snap him up for 2 seasons. And he's still going to play. They've had an absolute steal there because I'd still have him in the squad, like you say. If you're going to play that the way Rowett plays, I'd still have him there for at least a backup in that position. Playing in the Championship, so a League One team would absolutely snap him up, I think.
Yeah, we'll get on to that in a minute about players in that position as well. And I'm gutted he's left. I do think it's probably the right time for him to leave. Fielding not so bothered, but I think he's showing a little bit of intent from the club that we're getting rid of these players because obviously, as we know, predominantly we don't have a lot of money to spend. However, we could be trying to free up a bit of wages where we can to maybe invest that more wisely. Let's go on to this guy who's always divided opinion. Sir Shane Ferguson blocked me on Twitter about 3 months after I started Lions TV. What about that? You know what? We played Peterborough away. He was 5-1 down, and we got a corner over where the away fans were. And he picked the ball up. A ball boy rolled the ball on. He picked it up near the 6-yard box. He looks over at us, and he didn't want to come and take the fucking corner. And from that point, I absolutely hated him. And then he blocked me on Twitter. I've never abused him on Twitter. I didn't even know he was on Twitter. Someone went, "Fergie's blocked me on Twitter." Has he blocked you? When I looked, he blocked me. But made a little bit of recovery. He's in the wilderness. Early he was going to be leaving the club, and then when he got his chance again, he came back and just technically was always good. It was the aggression for me and the anger and the desire, but. He got angry. He turned into the fucking Incredible Hulk because he hadn't played in a year. Come on, scored those 2 goals against Hull. Went on to have a very good season. I don't personally think he's good enough for the Championship. But to let him go again, I think with only Tienza in that role, I'm not sure the club really rate or Rowett rates. Murray Wallace and Scott Malone, I'm surprised we've let him go unless, as I said, other options in that area might be coming in from Rowett. So, Joe, what do you think? So just have a little chat in general about the Northern Irishman, Shane Ferguson, leaving the club. One of Neil Harris's first signings from Newcastle, 2015.
Reason he's probably gone is, personally, I would have kept him as a squad player, but he's been that for, 2 seasons now, and he probably himself can see what's happening. He doesn't want to just be a squad player, obviously. He can probably go to a team, I don't know about the Championship, but maybe League One and start week in, week out. I don't think he's happy just sitting around for us. But I have to say, for me personally, I think he's been one of our most underrated players. Obviously, he had that spell where he got dropped. But remember when he come back after that spell, and he looked like a man reborn. And I've always said he is one of the best crossers of the ball in our team. Not many people in our team can cross, other than I'd say Malone's been fairly decent, and believe it or not, Murray Wallace I'll find a good crossing him. But before them two, Shane Ferguson, I've always said, has got good delivery. But the thing that frustrates me with him is when he's going down that left wing, he can never cut it back on his right. He's always trying to get to the byline. But I've seen even when he's put the ball in with his right foot, he's got a good delivery. So I don't know why he doesn't do it. But listen, I'm not saying he's the answer for us to go forward. But I personally would have kept him as a squad player there, to be honest.
Yeah. Ken?
Yeah, I think it's his time to go. I think that Shane Ferguson is a great left winger if you've got Matt Smith or a Steve Morrison in the middle of the box. Like he doesn't. Shane Ferguson doesn't suit our style of play at all now. He's never going to get into our squad. I do agree with you, Joe, in ways of squad player, etc., etc. But he's never going to be able to play to his best, Shane Ferguson, in our Millwall squad anymore. Because we're not ever going to do that 4-4-2, a lump in the box, and stuff like that. So, do you know what? He's another player that's probably going to get into a League One side. He's going to be playing left wing. Yeah, all right. He has to fucking go left, right, 10 times before he decides to cross the ball.
Yeah, that's what Steve said in the comments. A winger who can't go, he ain't got the confidence. This is going to sound harsh. I think if Fergie weren't a footballer, he'd be working, stacking shelves somewhere, like a really job where he ain't got to take no responsibility. Because he doesn't want to take the responsibility of take people on or anything. Do you know what I mean?
Probably just do the trolleys.
Iceland.
Yeah. If he does the trolleys, he can keep going back and forth, to get them, can't he? So,
in the comments there, he could potentially be going to Cholton or Portsmouth. He needs to go to a top. He needs to go to a top end League One side, in my opinion, to have any sort of effect. He's not. He's not a sort of player that's going to take the game and go, boys, fuck this. Take the game by the scruff of the neck. Jack, what's your thoughts on Fergie?
Well, as Ken said, Aldi are looking for a trolley wally round my way. So, no, I'm joking. I think exactly what I agree with Joe and Ken. You need a Matt Smith in the box because he'll find him. But I also agree with Joe on the fact that he's too predictable. When he's on that wing and that defender comes towards him, before he does it, you already know what he's going to do. And so does the defender. And he's been found out by then, But he's got a great delivery and he's a squadron, yeah. You know what I mean? He had his little flourish, but it is time to go. If I was going to keep anyone around just to wash the kit, I'd keep Williams, But not Fergie for me. His time's up, but thank you. Another good servant.
You just mentioned him there, Jack. You linked me in nicely. Now, Matt Smith and club captain Alex Pearce, both out of contract at the end of this season. This will be a big talking point. People can get involved in the comments. 144 you're watching. Thanks for tuning as always. Matt Smith, you see Kenny, as I cut away from that picture, Matt Smith, I see Kenny shaking his head. Matt Smith, he's out of contract. Will he leave the club, won't he? Do you want him to stay, don't you? Joe, let's start with you.
Bit torn on this one, but I'll probably say I'd keep him. Not it. A lot of people rave about him, and I know he was. Did he finish top scorer last season or near enough? And but I think he's better as an impact player. I don't believe in starting him. I think we 100% need at least 1-2 more strikers, someone with a bit of pace. But it depends what game we're going to play. If it's in the dying end of the game and we need a goal, bring him on, whack the balls into the box because he's going to win them. But so for that reason, I'd give him another year, maybe.
Do you think he'll be happy with that role, Ken? Just to be a bit, probably already is a bit part, but he didn't know that until this season, did he? So, and you can see, Reading away when he scored the goal and fucking booted the ball and looked over at the dugout. Do you think if Rowett says, all right, Matt, we're going to give you another year, but you're going to be same as coming on here and there 15 minutes. Do you think he'll wear that, Smith, or do you think he thinks he's better than that?
I mean, it's difficult because it's another season now, isn't it? I mean, this season, obviously he's got injured, but this season I would have had him as a starter because he's an out-and-out striker. I know he's not as mobile, but what you have to do is For someone that was our top goal scorer like the season before that, you have to play to their strengths. And I know exactly what Joe says, because he says, he's an impact player. He comes on, and if we need a goal, well, do you know what? At 0-0, and the clock says 0-0-0-0, we need a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would do is I would turn around and go, right, let's get him on. Let's push. Let's play to our strengths, and we play. The problem is that this season, or the season coming on, we need to be a bit more dynamic now. We definitely need to change the way we play. So I would have Smith, but I wouldn't have him to start now. I would have him as an impact player now. Will he have it? Will he wear it? I don't know. He has to look at his age. I don't know how old he is, but I know he's getting on a little bit, isn't he? He's got to start thinking that he's not going to be playing 90 minutes for a championship side anymore.
It's funny, this comment here from Steve Morrison. I'm sure Danny put something very similar into our WhatsApp group this morning. Rowett doesn't like strikers that can score goals. Jack, what's your thoughts on Smith? I mean, Rowett gets criticised a lot for having no plan B. And with Matt Smith, you've got an absolutely very basic but very effective plan B option there on the bench, haven't you?
I think with Rowett, he's got a double-edged sword here, because you could bring Smith on in the 70th minute and he'll go and score 2. And they go, start him next week. He does. And then we don't do nothing for 60 minutes. But not because of Rowett. Really, it could be that he ain't getting the service. Like a lot of the strikers, we don't have the service. And then everyone goes, he's shit, his legs are gone now, we need to get rid of him. If it was me, I'd say, listen, I know you're not going to play as much. You are an impact player. That is what you are. You was at QPR before you come here. That's why you come here to play. But you're that impact geezer. That is you. I'd even give him a few more grand every week to say, listen, this is the coup. Give him, say, look, say he's on 10 and say, look, there's 13. You know what I mean? Just stick around for another year. I would keep him because he does score goals and he is a plan B. And one thing we've all found out with Rowett, there isn't really a plan B, is there? And with Matt Smith on the pitch, you always feel like you're going to score. But I think you'll all agree that it's more towards the second part of the game as opposed to the early part. It seems like when Matt Smith scores early, we end up losing 3-1. And I think that he don't get the service, but he hasn't got the legs. No. And in this new chasing down, this new pressing football, he hasn't got the legs to do that.
No, they don't fit. And I've been the first one to hammer him. He just can't run. He looks so awkward. His knees are all bent, but he fucking scores goals. And I honestly think if he went to League One, I think if any League One side signs him, they'll get promoted. I reckon he'd score 25, 30 goals in the League One still.
This is the same as Bart, isn't it? Bart's knees have gone, but he's a great shot stopper. Matt Smith's legs have gone, but he's a great striker. You just sometimes you have to play to the strengths. I've just seen what Kieran's just put in there.
I don't think with Smith, I don't think he starts in any other championship team.
No.
And I think if we want to push on, he's not. He's if he wants to stay in the championship, I think he's going to have to be happy with being an impact sub, because I don't think he might start in a League One team, but I don't think he starts in any other championship team, to be honest.
I agree with you, Joe, on that. That's now. Well, when I'm looking at our squad and what, like I say, let's forget the formation that we've played this season, etc. And we went back to the old 4-4-2, the one that the way that we've always played. And you had the likes of Ferguson on the left, and you had the likes of Jed on the right. In them situations, someone like Matt Smith starting and us going gung-ho at them, I think that works. But, however, definitely I can see where you're coming from there. Now, this season, the way we played, it weren't good for him, but we needed to start him, in my opinion. Next season, Rowett's now got to get the players in that works for the system that he has.
Yeah. It's like if you put Smith in a League One team, he'd do what Morrison done for us when we got up. He'd do it 100%. I think personally, but that's what I think. We need to keep him.
What you said there, Ken, was spot on about Matt Smith. What we needed at the time. Now I'm going to move on to a player before I cover Alex Pearce, and he wasn't in my notes, but I'm just looking at players that potentially could be leaving the club. Ben Thompson. Now he was exactly what we needed at the time. A bit of infusion of Millwall-ness, a bit of a battler. In the long term, I don't think so. But for what we needed at that point, like you said about Matt Smith, I think Thompson falls into that bracket. Before we move on to Thompson, just go around a circle with a quick yes or no. Would you keep Matt Smith for another season? Ken, yes or no?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Right, lovely. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree with the boys? Let's move on to. We haven't covered Alex Pearce yet. All right, let's do Pearce. Let's do Pearce, then we'll do Thompson. Yeah. Alex Pearce, club captain, came in at a time when we was in banging trouble. Became captain after about 6 games. It always sticks with me that night at Birmingham away where we had the team huddle, and everyone was going, "He's brilliant! What a player! The togetherness he's brought to the club, and the leadership he's just took on in a struggling side and just quickly won over the dressing room." I remember at this point, people were telling me that he was better than Sean Hutchinson, which when I said Hutchinson was better, people laughed at me. But now they obviously realise that, as always, I'm right. But Alex Pearce, now I can tell. I mean, everyone can see the character he is, but I can tell you, him and Jed Wallace run that dressing room, and they're very well thought of, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So his legs are gone. Mind you, I said his legs are gone, right? But then he just. One day he's brilliant, the next day he's not. Maybe that's 2 games a week. But I've seen him have very good games this year, and I've seen him have absolutely horrendous ones. And I think it probably would have been a bit of a kick in the bollocks for him that he didn't start the last game or so, even though there was nothing to play for. But Alex Pearce, club captain, so good. And I think from outside looking in, we can't always appreciate how much of an influence players can be without kicking a ball at a football club. Joe, what are you thinking about Pearcey?
See, for that reason, I'm very torn on this one because playing-wise, I think we've seen on many occasions this season, for me, his legs are gone. He's too slow to turn. He's been turned out inside out on many occasions this season. I could don't like to fault people, but I could with him on some of the goals. So for me, I don't think he can play in our team, but we know, or we seem to hear, how much of an impact he has in the dressing room and morale, and things like that are good to have around the club. We see it with Cahill when he come in that season, how good he was in the dressing room without even playing. So if there was a way where he would be happy and we could come to some sort of agreement or some sort of setup where he can stay, but maybe not be involved as much, then yeah, I'd keep him for that reason. But playing wise,
can I jump in here, please, Dan? Can I, after this?
Go on.
I totally agree with that. I think you should have Williams' old job. That's what I think. Say, listen, you're only playing if like Hayden Muller's like got drunk, Romeo's like gone out too much, like just like the last of the last backup, but he's in that dressing room because I think he is important for that. But he's also, does he want to stop? Because he might go, no, League 2 team want me. I can get another couple of seasons. That's the only other part. But I think he is very important. But he gets turned out against the big teams. He ain't quick enough. But then, like we've all seen him had a worldie against. I think he had a good one against Norwich or someone like that. You know, he was really good. But then Bournemouth, we found him out. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. I think important in the dressing room, not so much on the pitch these days.
Ken, would you be happily give him a 1-year contract, knowing he'd never kick a football?
No. Honestly, let me tell you something, right? I don't give a shit how much of an influence he has in the dressing room. It has absolutely fuck all to do with what he's going to do on the pitch. You know, and that's one of our biggest problems. So apparently, Jed and Pearce,
it's an expensive comedian to have, isn't it?
Yeah, but let me tell you something. So Jed and Pearce, right? They're running the dressing room, aren't they?
Interesting guys, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Where the fuck is Barrett? Where the fuck is Rowett? Right? Who's meant to be running this dressing room? Right? Pearce can be influential. Are we honestly thinking about having Alex Pearce as a defender coach? Has anyone actually seen his defending? We got to be honest. I mean, I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, and I'm sure he's nice, and I'm sure they all get on with him. But the fact of the matter is as a football club or as a business, he's not that great of a defender. Let's be honest. He isn't.
I disagree with you all the time, but then I hear you speak, and then I start thinking he's got a point.
I'm just saying, you know, he's not the best defender in the world, and I really couldn't give a shit about his personality. So, you know, no, we get rid of him and we get someone younger in, or let's put Hayden Muller in them boots.
Yeah, I said that.
Let's see him where he goes.
I think we need Pearce there just to stop Wallace playing John Cena music.
So let's talk about this defensive.
Joe.
Like Hayden Muller is by far and away the best player in the 23. He's a great defender, but he can play as well. So let's look at this subjectively. I think the word is, say Pearce leaves, and I think a lot of people are saying we need to buy a centre half. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not saying we don't need to buy a centre half, but if you look on paper, the centre backs available to us next year: Sean Hutchinson, George Evans, Murray Wallace. What have I got written down there? It looked like I've written down Rambo, Romeo. Definitely not Rambo. Hayden Muller and Murray Wallace. So 1, 2, 3.
Great Cooper, you missed.
Miss Cooper.
And Cooper. There you go. How did I miss out Juicy? So you got Cooper, Romeo, Muller, Murray Wallace, Hutchinson, and Evans. That's 6 centre halves at his disposal. I'm not saying I like all them playing centre half, but I'm saying we have seen them play centre half. So I don't think we're going to sign any more centre halves. I really, really don't. So let's go around the circle. Joe, Pearce, yes or no? 1 year contract.
Do you know what Kenny said has kind of swayed me to say no now?
Same.
He's kind of like straight up, no messing about.
He isn't John Terry, is he?
No. Right. So we're all agreeing, as much as a comedian he is, and he dances around the pitch and all that, he's got to go.
Yeah.
Well, if Kenny says yes, I agree.
Kenny's little speech there really touched me. So
Joe, we both proper backed him. Then we heard Kenny and went, "Oh yeah." What he said.
Kenny backlash.
It does make sense.
This one that popped into my head earlier, actually. Muller, get out on loan. Oh, that's harsh and man up, mate. You ain't seen him play. But what I'm saying is, I didn't see that last bit. Get Muller out on loan, and obviously we've got now with Callum Davison, we've got this St Johnstone connection, haven't we?
Get him back then. Get that gaffer back.
Well, a lot of people are saying that, but that's not going to happen. But I'll be interested to see Hayden Muller go out on loan to St Johnstone. Of course, we sent out Isaac Alafe with Danny McNamara. Alafe come back, didn't work out for him there, ended up scoring goals for Sutton. I've not seen a lot of Alafe, so I can't really comment, but he's strong, he's powerful, he's quick, he's scoring goals in the National League. And for all the people saying, I'll get George Alexander in, obviously George is now gone. Alafe, I would say, was higher up in the pecking order because they had him out of the National League side. Julian Tient's also there now with him, but yeah, but will they bring him in next year? I mean, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, look, in a year from now, Billy Mitchell, Danny McNamara, and say Hayden Muller gets an eye in this next season, yeah? We've got no money, yeah? And you've got, at the end of next season, I'm telling you now, Danny McNamara and Billy Mitchell will both be worth £2-3 million each. If Hayden Muller goes the same way, you're looking at like £10 million worth of talent there brought through our system, which we have to do because we've got no money.
But they love us.
Really near enough, do we?
They love us, though. They're all Millwall, aren't they?
Who's that?
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who's the other one she said? Muller and
McNamara.
Yeah, they're all Millwall fans, aren't they?
Proper Wall.
Well, listen, they probably wouldn't be here if they wasn't, would they?
Like I've never been an advocate of the proper Wall. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, if you're shit, you're shit. You know.
Yeah.
But I don't rate that. But as you said earlier with Thompson, like when it was usual saying time to get him in, I was going, fuck off, no way. But you turned out to be right. For that little spell, he did that. He was what we needed. But then when we had a few come back, we realised, yeah, he's shit, but he's a trier. Do you know what I mean? I love him. I love his tenacity, but it just looks like he's going to fall over.
Yeah,
all the time.
Then, because let's move on to Ben Thompson, because we've got 2 midfielders. We'll cover them both now. One midfielder that was on loan and went away, the gaffer seems to absolutely fucking love. Of course, we're talking about the Ginger Ninja Ryan Woods. And Ben Thompson, who has been at the club a long time, great servant, who the gaffer clearly doesn't seem to rate. Let's talk a bit about Ben Thompson. Yeah. Joe, let's start with you again. Been a great servant to the club. I think this season he was exactly what we needed for a time. But I do fully understand he's not actually good enough. He's not a fantastic. He's a bit like Matt Smith. If you actually look what they do over 90 minutes, it isn't all great. But they've come off that pitch and they've affected the game.
Spot on. But to be completely blunt, it's a no for me. I think
I'll change your mind in a minute, Joe.
Yeah, I'll go to Kenny after, not me. Go to Kenny.
I think, as we all sort of agreed, he was sort of what we needed for that period in time. Come in, done well, but for me, technically, he's not the best, and I think we need to come away from this sort of thing. Similar with Alex Pearce, I think we need to come away from this thing. Oh yeah, but they're a trier; they give 100%. For me, if we want to push on, we can't just stick with players that ain't going to bring us forward just because. Oh yeah, but they put in 100% effort. For me, if they're not good enough to play at this level, why are we wasting time? And for me, Ben Thompson, don't get me wrong, he's had his moments where he has done well, but overall, he's not for me. I don't think he's going to be the future or get us to march on any further, basically.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Malumbi back, question mark. Malumbi actually liked my tweet the other day to do with something. I can't remember what it was. But no, I don't think we need a Malumbi. As I say, I think we're all in agreement. We needed 10. Thompson plays in that right sort of position, but as I said, I wanted to get Sammy Smodic, great player, mate of mine. He's priced himself out now. He'd be a lot of dough, mate, the goals he scored. But Ken, let's just stick with Thompson for a minute.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'd 100% keep him.
Yeah,
100% keep him. Let me tell you why.
He's still under contract as well. I'm not sure if anyone could let me know in the comments.
Let me ask you boys, right? What midfielder statistically in our team at the moment is better than Ben Thompson?
Ryan Leonard.
No, but I don't know. What can he say statistically?
Statistically,
in talent or in passes, or maybe passes completed, but statistically,
goals, assists, etc.
Yeah, you think you're right, Ken. You know that.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
I don't like the look of him.
Right, let me tell you something. Right, for the small amount of minutes that Ben Thompson's played, Ben Thompson's played 1,352 minutes. He's assisted 3 times. He's scored 1 goal. Yeah,
right.
Which is more than any other of our midfielders.
How many of them minutes though was on his arse?
Yeah.
Well, that makes it even better, doesn't he? So if he spent an hour on his arse, that's less time that he's had to assist people and score.
What has Leonard not scored more than him?
No.
Woods.
Nah.
Your face. I'm joking. Not Woods.
Right, so
actually, I don't know how many goals Leonard scored, but I know that he hasn't assisted as much, and also he's been injured. So that's why we're talking statistically. Ben Thompson, statistically, is our best midfielder this season.
Really? That says a lot about us, doesn't it? How the fuck
I still wouldn't have him.
No.
And that's
You're
the
not
argument.
swaying me this time, Kenny.
Yeah, no, I think he's a load of shite. But I love him. You know what I mean? Nice guy. Probably cooks really nice, spag bowl and that. But no, he ain't for me.
I was just about to text you, Ken. Said you can hear your dogs barking in the background. I must just tell you while we're on here.
No, it's not me.
Whose dog's barking in the background?
But it might be my woman. Hey, take your noise down. It's all right.
Oh, right, so Ben Thompson, I think he's under contract still. I'm a yes. I'd keep Thompson, and not for the his proper wall, or because he's been in the club a long time, but because he comes off the bench, or if he starts, he affects games, he scores goals, he gets assists. It's not always pretty with him, but he's one of the few that will have a go at the other end of the pitch. And
Dan, I'll just say something quick. $500,000 or 750 grand with a little sell-on clause, go to Pompey.
Yeah, I'd take that all day long.
Yeah?
You ain't going to get $500,000 for Thompson, are you?
No, well, I don't think we get that.
Why, Dan? Is it because he's shit? No, I'm joking.
Well, yeah, no, I don't think. No, actually, Pompey really rated him, didn't they? Pompey wanted
That's what I mean. Take of what you can.
Yeah,
little sell on in case it becomes a gem.
Maybe that 750 grand, Joe, would pay a certain Ryan Woods his wages for another season.
Oh,
what's your thoughts on him, Joe?
Oh, where do I start?
I'm glad he went to you, not me.
Honestly, I don't know what to say about this one because I was a big advocate for him from the start when everyone was against him.
We both were.
I don't know whether it was just because everyone was started to get on his back so much that I sort of felt like I had no choice but to like slate him.
Yeah, like we felt we was getting bullied, so we tried to just so we tried to back him up.
Listen, my point with Ryan Woods is technically, I'd say he's one of the best players in this league. But it's if we play to his strengths. We have seen in spells when he's played a little further up the pitch what he can do. Like the passing range on him is there ain't many players that does it better in the Championship, but we just don't see enough. It all depends on how we're going to set up and how we're going to play. When he's playing deeper, doesn't impact the game enough for me. But we have seen on maybe very few occasions what he can actually do if played in the right system. If we're going to play in a different system next season that will play to his strengths, that will suit Ryan Woods, then yeah, I'd keep him. But if we're going to stick earlier in the season how he was, deep lying, then doesn't do it for me. So I'm really torn on this one. Hard to give a straight answer.
Yeah.
But if given the opportunity, I'd probably keep him.
Like that annoyed me with. I agree with everything you said, and the thing is, like I think it was Danny, Kenny, and Dan himself told us this ages ago. We're not playing to his strengths. It don't work, and we went like, no, he's a baller, and he is a baller. But as you said, you stick him in Norwich, and he'll be pucker. You know, it didn't work for us, but I'm on the same ilk as Joe with that one. We bigged him right up, backed him up, and he didn't really deliver for us, really, in the sense, did he? You know, but he's got it, but just he's not
having an absolute fucking jolly. I know I'm not one to speak. If you look, someone sent me a before and after pic when he joins them now. He's put on about 4 stone. He's got a Ginger Alice band in his head. That alone shouldn't let him be at the club. Apologies to any Gingers watching.
Yeah, he looks like Wendy. You know, Wendy's, your restaurant in America. That's who he is now.
Got the logo, the slogan.
He's got a little pot belly in that, and he running about and that. I said, what the fuck? So me and Joe probably backed you up. Now we let him get bullied. We don't back him up now.
He's an horrible little being. Ken?
He's fucking awful, isn't he? Right, come on, because people are saying he's a baller. Yeah, all right. Do you know what? He's chucked a couple of great passes over the defence in 45 games. Right, he's a sideways tactician, magician, whatever you want to call it. Like, he can send a ball, but let me tell you something. Other than the balls over the box, which I reckon I'll count on one hand in a whole season, right? All them balls, them switches, etc. I could do them. It's not difficult. It just looks good, and it's something different to what we're used to. But again, let me tell you something. I'm going to go on statistics one more time. Yeah.
His prep's been tremendous, by the way, Kim.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you this player, right? Actually, let me tell you all the players that have assisted more. Ryan Leonard, Matt Smith, Sean Williams, Cooper, Hutch, Ben Thompson, right? Most players that haven't played all season like Ryan Woods. And the one person that has assisted more goals than Ryan Woods is Dadbod. Dadbod has assisted 2 goals this season. Yeah? So,
hey, where's that gun?
So for someone that's been a sub maybe every other game, yeah, who can't put 2 passes together, who don't know where the back of the net is, yeah, has assisted 2 goals, 1 more than Ryan Woods, who is this special Ginger Pele, yeah, in 45 games.
Can I jump in quick, Dan, please? After that,
go on, mate.
Like, I totally agree. Like, you know, I thought he was the bollocks, and I thought he was saying that we've not seen Dan then, someone who's got a bit more. And as I said before, in Norwich had looked good and all that, but I think we could get someone a bit better. I think we could, someone in this position who works for the team. I've started to realise it this second half of the season, which I know you've all told me so, that we could have someone there who probably does it ain't just got that sideways pass, you know, who's got that bit more, that tenacity. But as you said, Williams could have done that all year, and we'd be raving about him. I get that now, and I didn't at the time. And I know he's a brilliant
football match going forward. You've got to affect the football match in the final third, and that's why I'm always sympathetic with Thompson and Dead and players who maybe run and fall over or something. But at least they're fucking trying to get beyond the player, take a player on, got the ability and the confidence to try it at least.
I even think that me and Joe text each other privately and I think we've dropped the bollock here with Woods, haven't we? Like we both went, didn't we? He's getting slated and we're trying to work out how to defend him, but we had no options. Like we can't. Joe, you know.
Michael Heathman, this is so spot on. And I've said this before. It's just another.
I don't know about that though. I don't know about that.
Tunnicliffe was better. Tunnicliffe was better.
Tunnicliffe was better. At least he put a tackle in occasionally.
Yeah.
If you put Woods in Norwich, it'd be blinding.
Core of your team. Central midfielder is a core of your team.
Stick him in Norwich or Bournemouth, it'd be blinding.
It doesn't affect the full match.
But yeah, he doesn't affect it at the Den at all. But I'd keep him around still, just to like, you know, G the boys up and that.
Steve Lee drives forward, Leonard drives forward, Thompson drives forward. Woods does not do any of those things. So, quick yes or no?
I don't think any of our midfielders drive forward, to be honest.
He hasn't played Woods in Cam like Cam. He hasn't done that yet. That's what me and Joe were for. He's a baller at that Cam position. He's never done that. He's only wandered forward from that CDM a couple of times. You know?
He's not going to do it, is he? Obviously, but I don't know, sometimes whether he's playing to instruction or he keeps in there. Quick yes or no, Ken, would you keep? Personally, we've been worth asking you that. No for me, no for Ken. Joe?
If he's going to take a big chunk of the budget, I'd say no. If we can get him on the cheap, I'd say yes.
Well, let's look at this then.
Well, you didn't ask me, Dan. What?
Well, you was a no already, weren't you?
No.
You for the last half hour.
If he goes to another championship, you owe me 50 quid, mate. I want him to stay. Remember?
For the viewers, me and Jack had a side bet. I said Woods will go backwards after Millwall when he'll sign for a League One side. On his next permanent move will be for a League One side. I'm confident that money is coming my way. Thanks for reminding me. We'll find that soon. So let's look at midfielders we have got. Central midfielders. Kieftenbeld, Billy Mitchell, Ryan Leonard, Ben Thompson, George Evans. You could even throw Connor Mahoney into that as a 10.
Yeah.
So will he go back to Woods, or will he think we'd have been nicely covered? With the emergence of Billy Mitchell, as you said, Jack, with the emergence of Billy Mitchell has factored in him not giving Williams a contract, has that also factored in not needing to pay Ryan Woods $35,000 a week? Oh, did I just say that? Sorry. And a length amount per week.
Can we just rewind? How much?
Yeah, no.
Don't want him. Fucking yeah. No. With my thing with I think when he got Kieftenbeld and Evans, it was a bit like it was what we needed then. You know, if we want to go to that to stay in this division, I'm on about, you know, because we hadn't won in ages and it was all going downhill. They were not panic buyers, but listen, like as you said, I think you was touching it ages ago. You went, we need players that are going to show some bollocks and fight for this club and keep us in this division. And that is what he done. He went and got that, but they're not of the age to take us to the next level. They're not. Like Mitchell, I think you could put Mitchell in with someone brilliant, but Kieftenbeld and Evans, they're not the future's answer, but they was all right then. And they'd be all right to stick around now, but I'd get someone in who can play, you know, proper play. Not just play, but I mean, show some bollocks and fight. You know, I think Mitchell would shine next to someone like that.
Well, Joe, what do you what was I going to say? Let's talk about Evans. George Evans. He's another one that's signed and I've sung his praises, but lately, mate, I think he's been horrendous.
Do you know what? With Evans and Kieftenbeld, I'm so undecided about them because with Evans, we don't know whether he's a centre midfielder, whether he's a centre back. He's switched so many times. I thought he was fairly solid when he started, but when he's playing in centre midfield, I don't think he has that much of an impact on games. Kieftenbeld's been injured, so it's hard to judge. But both of them two, I don't think they're the sort of players that set the world alight.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give us that something. I know it's a bit early to say. We'll have to see next season. But Evans and Kieftenbeld, I don't think they're the players to push forward.
That's it.
What's that?
They kept us up. They kept us up with what we needed then. That's right.
Yeah, I don't think they're the sort of players to push us forward. I've always said it. I just want to see a centre midfielder that ain't afraid to run forward with the ball, take players on, someone exciting there in the centre midfield. And for me, it's not them two.
Like if you're winning 1-0 in the 70th minute, you can throw Kieftenbeld on CDM. Do you know what I mean? I'll get that, but we want to attack games and take them rather than settle for them. You know.
I agree with what Steve Morrison is saying here. I like Kieftenbeld when I've seen him breaks up play like Wood should.
Yeah, that's
Ken,
pretty good.
Thinking, mate?
That's pretty good thing to say, actually. Yeah.
Evans, I think Evans is a nice, solid professional. I think there's a lot of confusion between midfield and defence within that formation. And I also don't think it's helped Evans going from midfield to defence, like Joe said.
I'll tell you, he's definitely not getting another contract. Whoever's fucking dog keeps barking in the background on my podcast.
Yeah, nothing going on here. I can hear it on the
Ain't
screen.
me.
Yeah, let me just shut the windows. It might be next doors.
I think that Evans is a solid either defender or midfielder. Is he good enough for what we want to do next season? I'm not too sure. But I think that we can probably blame his lapses on utter confusion of what he's actually meant to do or what he's been brought in to do at the club over the last 10 games, in my opinion. What
do you think? Let's wrap this up by saying this. I said this earlier when I spoke. I said we all think we should get in 3-4 players, etc. How many players do we? This is the problem I've got with Rowett as well. Who saying, he's got Harris's players, which he hasn't. What's going to happen? Yeah, we'll sort it out in the summer. I don't think we're going to get many players in at all. I think we'll get a couple of loanees, maybe one on a free transfer. What's your boys' take on it? Do you think there's going to be money available in the summer? And how many players do you actually think we will get in?
Who's that for?
Whoever.
I'll tell you what we do need then. I'll tell you what we do need. We need a fucking leader. That's what we need. We need a proper, or whether it's in the middle of the park, whether it's a striker, whether it's a defender, we need someone that, I don't know about you, watching these games, I don't hear anyone on the pitch or anything like that. I don't feel like we've got a proper leader in our side. So something like that wouldn't go amiss. Obviously, we've got to have the quality with that. I think we need strikers. There's no two ways about that. We definitely need, and if anything, we probably need to concentrate the most on a strike force. I think midfield,
100%.
We could just about cope, about if Leonard was fit. I think defence. I think when Hutch and Coops are together, I don't think there's a better two centre backs in the league at present. So, but that's where we fall, and we have to put our wingers back on the wing and get two strikers. That's what I think we have to do. So I'd go for two strikers minimum.
An interesting one, Kings. I'm just looking at the shortlist of what we have or what we had. If you look at recognised strikers for next season, was Zahor's gone back. Jed isn't a recognised striker. I would now say that that Bennett is an actual recognised striker in Gary Rowett's eyes.
Yeah.
And you've got Bradshaw and Barson still with a year left. So they're our three strikers. It's not enough, is it? We need one or two more, Joe.
No chance. At least two, I've said. At least two strikers. We don't know what's happening with Smith, so either way, listen, Bodvarsson, I know we go on about him all the time, but for me, he can't be anywhere near that first team.
No, we need football.
It just leaves you with Bradshaw and Bennett, really, at the minute, if you look at it like that. So I'd say we need two. I think Bennett, I've liked him in the striker role, but I think the good thing with him, he can be a bit flexible now. Say Mahoney's injured. I'd like to see Mahoney on the left. You could have Bennett up front, but say Mahoney gets injured, you can have Bennett drop in on the left then, but then you'd still need another striker to come in there. So I'd say two strikers and, repeating myself, a central attacking midfielder, someone that can pick up the ball, drive forward.
What we need is something different, and you both answered it in a different way. How many players do you actually think we will get? Do you think we'll actually go out and break the bank and break the transfer record this year, Jack?
Yeah, I don't think we'll break the bank. I think we'd budget it, as we always do.
Yeah.
But I think, not being funny, the amount of charity work this club does, outside the ground with a bucket and that, we could whack up whatever Bodvarsson is owed to chip him off, easy, because he can't be near that club next season. I'm sorry, he's shy. Oh, is he?
Yeah, this is the thing with him and Bradshaw, and I like Bradshaw. They're both contracted. Bradshaw activated his contract extension because that tells you something, doesn't it?
See, Bradshaw showed a bit of bollocks. Bradshaw showed a bit of bollocks these last few games and that, and I don't think he had a bad game the last 3 or 4 that he played. I thought he'd done all right. He worked his nuts off, and I could live with that. You know what I mean? Fair play. I wouldn't mind him in and around the squad because he's showing a bit now. You know, he's not as isolated. But you can also say that he don't get the service, which none of our strikers do. We need to find a striker that can, you know, them draws, all them 0-0s and them 1-0s that we had because there was no service. That striker that don't need a service, that can just find something and just get that weldy and unlock a team just for them 3 points. That's what we're missing, a goal getter, like a proper goal getter, out and out.
Yeah, so the question I asked was, how many players do you think we will actually get? Not what we
4.
need.
We'll get 4.
You reckon we'll get 4? 4 for Joe? Ken, you think 4?
I think we'll get the 4.
I think we get the 4. I mean, I would say defenders aren't priority, really. I would say central midfielders aren't really the priority. I would say an attacking midfielder and 2 strikers. If I could get 4 in, I'd probably get in a goalkeeper, 2 strikers, and a 10. But
there you go. Now,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, just
I'm surprised Kenny never said it.
Yeah, right.
But that's it. Spot on.
He did. I know he did.
To flip the coin, boys, to finish with this one, this could be an interesting one. Do you think to free up some money, we will cash in on players, or would you cash in on players? Ken?
Oh,
first person that I think should go out the window is Romeo.
Yeah.
I think that I think his attitude stinks right now. I don't think he's in love with a football club anymore. I think that obviously,
what we say here, boys.
Yeah, that's fine. I think certain circumstances has made him not want to be here anymore, and that's fair enough for his own reasons. But I think that's shown on the pitch as well. So I'd be happy to see Romeo go. I don't think he's our right back anymore or our right wing back. He's not number 1 there as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I've said, I've said that, man. He's not paid to. You're definitely not paid to smile, Ken. Romeo's not paid to smile, is he? And I feel like I'm being critical when I say that, but he doesn't look happy, does he?
No.
Nah.
Yeah, I think he'd go.
Could be worth a bit of dough. Do you know what I mean? Well, would he be?
Definitely.
Where do you think Romeo could go, Joe? You're shaking your head.
Honestly, you say about cashing in on players. I don't think we'd get much money for any of them. The only one I'd probably say you might get a bit of money for is Cooper, who I 100% wouldn't let go.
And Jed.
He said maybe Jed a couple seasons
Maybe,
ago.
yeah.
Linked to Villa for 7 million and stuff. I don't think we get anywhere near 7 million for Jed now.
Well, last time we got 8 million, we bought a telly at the Den, didn't we? For George Saville's money. That's what we done, didn't we?
Yes, I honestly don't think we're going to get much money for anyone we get rid of, and I don't think personally we will sell either.
Would you cash in on anyone, Joe, if you got the opportunity? Free up some dough?
Probably. I don't know. I'm very sceptical with Jed. I could say yes, but I don't know. Sometimes he can turn games around and be our best player.
If Jed don't play well, Millwall don't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, though.
Yeah, it is a proper problem, Ken. I agree.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm getting annoyed saying that.
The problem is that if Jed doesn't play well, Millwall don't play well. The problem is that Jed is a massive influence in our dressing room. You know, this is the problem. So get cash in on Jed if there's enough dough for him.
I preferred him when he was bald.
He still is bald, mate. Maybe salt and pepper shakers. Take it with someone who knows.
There's plenty.
I know.
Why do you think you and Joe both got hats on? But anyway, yeah. Well, look, Steve
got a ponytail at the back. No, I ain't.
Steve Morrison says here, look, can you call cashing in? Can you call it cashing if we barely get a score for half?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'll start us off. I'd say the one person I would absolutely last resort lose would be Jake Cooper.
Cooper's our money. That's our money. I still think he'll play for England. At 28, he'll play for England.
Nah, I don't know about that, but you get 5 or 6 million for Cooper, 7 million, 8 million maybe.
No,
we're notoriously known for cashing in. We never sell players for the foot. Other than Savile, actually, you might have broke the mould there. But we predominantly down the years let players go for too little. So
Adam Flint went from, was it Bristol to Cardiff or Cardiff to Bristol? Something like that. He went, yeah. Adam Flint, that centre half. How much did he go for?
His twin brother Adrian, it was.
18 million or something stupid like that. Was it Aiden? All right. Yeah, one of them. Cheers, Joe. Thanks, mate.
Look at this then.
Cooper's worth 25. If he's worth 18, I'm sorry.
What's Jed worth? Look, what's Jed worth? Joe?
Yeah, I'd go 4 mil.
Yeah, 4 probably. 2 seasons ago, you might have said nearly 7, but I think even though he's still probably been our best player, I don't think he's been as good as he was a couple seasons back. So I think his value's diminished.
More. It needs to be more for me.
Right. Well,
it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, but I want more, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Jed will still be in next year. I think Cooper will. I think, you know what? I think because Rowett's used Romeo in that centre-back role, I think he will as well. But finally, before we wrap up, because
if Rowett watched Coventry, he would never play Romeo there again.
Yeah, sure.
Ever. Shite.
I thought someone's getting really specific, 7.8 million, but they're saying 7 or 8 million. Jack
That's
Marriott,
what I'd go for.
We'll get onto that because what we're going to do is we're going to do another one of these, and we'll have obviously another 4 boys in and another 4 boys in, and just keep them going through the summer. So, what will you be happy with? Let's go around the circle one last time. What will you be happy with as a finish next season, Joe? And what do you expect us to do?
What do I expect? And what I'd be happy with would be 2 different things. Listen, I think it's a bit of a project under Rowett. I'd give it a couple years. Even if we just build on this year's position, top 10, push for the playoffs, even if we just miss out, don't think it would be too bad. But then following season, I say you've got to be looking at really pushing on to the playoffs now. Even next season, we got to mount a playoff push because otherwise we're just making up the numbers each time in this league now, aren't we?
I see. Personally, I'd take a 15th finish in an FA Cup semi-final as always. Ken, what about you?
I think that if Rowett's in charge, I think we're going to be right down there at the bottom. I really do. I can't see what players he's going to bring in that can make a massive change to his style of play, and his style of play is horrendous in this league. And we get found out, or he gets found out playing that style of play. I really do think that we'll be down in a relegation scrap if Rowett's in with us. I can't see for the level of improvement that every team will have based on how poor this league was this season, and how every single team is going to improve massively. Are we honestly going to improve that much to improve our place in the table? I don't think. I think we're going to be right down in the bottom.
Jack?
Sort of torn between the pair of them there. Like I want us to finish 6th, but I'd love to shit out it and finish 2nd. Like do something random and just get up there. But then you also think about, I'm a Rowett advocate, I am, but I don't like the way he sets up. That's why I said earlier, this could go double wrong. At Christmas, he's fucking gone. Do you know what I mean? Because the difference is with us is we are that 12th man at that den, shouting them on. If you ain't doing right, we bollock you, and then you do. That's what he ain't had this year, So it could either go 2 ways. It could go all Pete Tong, and he gets booed out the ground and sacked by Christmas, or we can bollock these players to the fucking playoffs, and that could be a difference for us. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn because I want to be proved right on Rowett, but not at a cost. You know what I mean? Not at a cost for the club, but I just don't think he's for us. I just don't think he understands it.
It's the second top 10 finish. Second top 10 finish since fucking Dennis Wise, that is.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And we've been shit. We've been shit. We have. I don't like the way he sets up, but we're 11th. Do you want to fight relegation or do you want to be safe?
Imagine what Sheffield Wednesday fans must be saying. Imagine what Derby fans must be saying. But there's nothing wrong with fucking putting our bar high, is there?
No, they've got Jordan Rhodes and Barry Bannon. We've got Ryan Woods and Tom Bradshaw. We're 11th.
It is. The mind does boggle.
Mental.
But hopefully, next season. So I don't want to say. I don't want to prove right about Rowett at a cost, but I just can't see it lasting. Right, boys. We've still got 151 people in this. The most we've had all night. And Volta Sampaio has come out the wilderness. Where the fuck have you been, by the way? Hang on. Better players with hunger, beer, and roast and toast meals. Okay. Maybe it wasn't the best idea.
Stick me down for a grand. Stick me down for a grand, mate. Yeah.
Right, boys. Thanks for joining us, Joe, Kenny, Jack. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll be doing more of these soon. Sooner rather than later. There'll be another one next week, and I'll probably Lions Lounge out if I can find a guest. They're drying up. Club's stealing them all.
Oh, this is my first. This is my first. Oh, sorry,
by the
sorry.
way, it's birthday day. Happy birthday, Jack.
Yeah.
Birthday, Jack.
Thank you. This is my first one, and Dan probably won't have me again. But thanks anyway.
Cheers, boys.
Please subscribe.